3v3 Typhon Arena blue team. First up is Field Marshal Yarrick, plays a Commissar Lord, good offense and support, fights in melee combat with an energy shield, and this is Deathcore of Krieg DLC, so forgive the annoying sounds. Alongside, Eerie is a big angry Warboss melee commander that walks through cover, very good offense, disruption and support from the front lines, can also be very tough late game. Rounding out blue team is Noisy, plays a Plague Champion, starts out range combat with this damage over time bolter, can get melee weapons, good versatility but lacks mobility, can also build turrets and repair. Red team, first up, Max Power is a Force Commander, good offense, can also disrupt, tank and support, a versatile commander that fights in melee combat. Alongside, Commissar Lag is a bright pink Lord General, fights range combat with this retinue to help him out to begin with. Very good defense and support abilities, a multi-last turret going up there early on. And we have XPhial playing here as X-Ray Dog, as a Lictor Alpha melee specialist that can infiltrate and disrupt, almost going down in the first engagement. Has some great offense on that commander, but he does get away there. Heretic's moving in for the flank and has a very good Doom Blast, now trying to focus down on the Hormagaunts. An excellent flank from Noisy. Warboss getting in there, got a bunch of XP already. Might be good to get the Blight Grenades in this matchup. He's up against two very light infantry heavy armies in this very tightly packed southwest contested victory point as well. And Commissar Lag has gone for triple guardsmen, which is not what you want to do against a Plague Champion, surely. Bile Spewer, Blight Grenades, Noxious Cloud in tier 2 are going to absolutely ruin these guys. We'll see what he goes for. Point blank, cover to cover firefight with guardsmen here trying to tank all this damage in this. This is the light cover. 500, 500. Nobody's capping this VP. And the Plague Champion is forced off, but so are those guardsmen. It's not a very long retreat from the bottom of the map, so the Plague Champion will be liking it. Lictor Alpha straight back on the field, has some spore mines backing him up, basically floating grenades that will damage and suppress when they detonate, but they also affect allies, so you need to be careful with your positioning. The Commissar Lord's gone down early on. Force Commander lost a bunch of health, but he's going to come and try and decap Blue's natural victory point. On this east side, red team have a natural on the north side, and there's a contested wreck point all the way up in the northeast corner. Contested power as well here. Natural powers on both sides for this is blue and red in mid and bottom. We have full 6 gens up already for blue team. We might see Max grab a flamer. In fact, he has got a flamer. We might see him go through mid and push that central power. Scouts, I think, are waiting around to do just that. He's retreating back so he can get some health back. 470, 500, Havoc's up for Noisy. Armed with a heavy bolter, they're a setup team that will suppress infantry. Can get different weapons in tier 2. Instant suppression from those guys as well. And some Nurgle worship to help these Chaos Space Marines cap. And we do see Blight Grenades up from the Plague Champion. He's almost level 2 already. Might see a very leveled Plague Champion by the end of this. These guys suppressed, and Pheromones up from the Lictor Alpha. Also has Adrenal Glands, so he can support his Tyranids. I think Pheromones actually allows you to reinforce allies as well. Allows your allies to reinforce, rather. He might throw the Blight Grenade at his feet here against his Hormagaunts. There's some Nurgle worship. Does throw it at his feet, and that's going to wipe those Hormagaunts, but does lose his Plague Champion. That's how powerful the Black Grenades can be now. 444, 500. Pain Boy up for Eerie. A bit of a strange choice versus triple guardsman. Has a 40 DPS power melee weapon, and it has damage over time, so he can really rip apart heavy infantry in tier 1, especially expensive jump troops like interceptors and raptors and assault marines. Really need to regard him as quite a dangerous threat now, but I'm not sure how he's going to do against triple guardsmen. I suppose you can use the Pain Boy to tie up one squad, the Warboss to tie up one squad, and the Sluggers to tie up the other, which would be good. Top is all blue now for Yarrick. He's taken a contested power, he's taken the victory point, and he's decapped red team's natural with his Sentinel. Plague Champion still down here. We have a Knob Leader up for these shooters and big shooters up for these shooters. Triple Guardsman not really bothered about using individual models right now. Only way you can damage this build is by taking down an entire squad. All 3 squads with their sergeant up takes them up to 9 models, allows them to reinforce 2 at a time. Plague Champion has been revived. Needs to be careful though and runs away. That was a smoke shell from these artillery spotters, calling off map mortar shell and a smoke shell. Really good at shutting down range blobs. 444, 442, there's the double cap for blue team, and Yarrick goes tier 2 way ahead of anyone else. XPhial replacing his Hormagaunts. No sign of a Warrior Brood. I think it's always important to get a Warrior Brood out for Lictor Alpha and Ravenet Alpha because you get that synapse. 444, 420, there's the double cap. Force Commander of Max coming all the way down to the bottom. He's completely whacked this pair out. Look at this. Decapped it as well using that Flamer. Iron Halo up for the Force Commander is almost level 2. Plague Champion is level 2. Warboss level 3 doing very well, has Angry Bits. Commissar Lord with a power sword. As you'd expect, up against Space Marines at the top, gives them a power melee weapon to chop down Marines. Power melee is very effective versus heavy infantry armor. The Lord General with stabilizers, which is incredibly powerful at the moment, a bit too powerful, more powerful than is intended I believe, because it's affecting allies. It's only meant to affect the Lord General's infantry, so that will probably be fixed for 2.2. Painboy in a bit of trouble, gets flesh hooked, uses his heal over time on himself and gets away. Now he's not going to be available for this engagement. His heal over time can only cast on Orc squads, by the way, which is why you never see him healing allies of other factions. These Hormagaunts are going to wipe if they're not careful. They do get away though. Warboss level 3 in there alongside Burners, Sluggers, and that's getting a cost reduction in 2.2, the Burners, down to 15 power from 20, which it currently is, and I think that's down from 25. So Slugger's getting some love. And look at this, Bile Spirit is up for the Plague Champion. Really awesome Flamer type weapon, passively debuffs units, as you can see here. Less damage and speed. Also has the awesome Bilious Discharge, which completely shut down a melee blob if you can time it right. There's Blight Grenades. It's going to hit them, but didn't hit them flush. But there you see the infection does a lot of damage now. Everything reinforcing off this medical bunker. Aspiring Champion in trouble, gets flesh hooked. Can the Lictor Alpha get one more hit on him? No, gets away. Heretics, and that's a level 2 Heretic squad. So good thing for Noisy that they survived. Havoc shutting down this Lictor Alpha, and double Havocs up for Noisy, and he goes into tier 2. Yarrick going for Ogrins. Power Fist on the way for the Force Commander. Maybe he's expecting a Chimera because he also has a Melter Bomb up. I don't think he should have purchased this so quickly. Wait to see what Yarrick's going to get first. Plasma Cannon is up for Max. Artillery squad that sets up. Needs to make its way up to the top though, and look at this pressure from blue team, taking out this power completely. The Bile Spear dissolving structures to the ground. Has Eternal War up for his Cursed Space Marines, flat 20% damage increase. Manticore on the way for lag, and a Weird Boy up for Eerie. Such an awesome choice in pretty much every matchup, I think. 422, 379. There's a stomp from the Sentinel, which probably saved it. Can the Assault Marines jump in for a Melter? No, they can't. They don't have the energy. Ogrins on the field for Yarrick then. Getting their Boned Leader. There he is. Line break unit for Imperial Guard. Very tough. 18, 25 hit points with their Novida, or with their Boned Leader, I should say. And these guys are super heavy infantry. Heavy melee as well, so they will rip apart anything. 407, 379. Interested to see if Max gets anything specifically to deal with the Ogrins. Is he going to get devastated? Is he going to get a Thunderhammer? He's lost his Tactical Marines, I'll tell you that much. Not sure where that happened. Might have been the Ogrins. 398, 379. Noisy has lost a Havoc as well. There's the Incendiary Shell on that blob. Warboss in amongst about 1 million infantry here. He'd love to have the big stomp right now, I think. He's level 4, doing very well. Spore Mines in amongst shooters though, that is dangerous. They're going to get one more detonation. I think a bunch of models are going to die here. Ouch. 5 or 6 models go down. If it went for those squad leaders, that would have been 2 dead squads, I think. Zap is up on his guardsman. That's from the weird way, one of his starting abilities. It will jump to different squads, doing, I think it's 40 damage each time. 386, 379, 2-to-1 cap for blue. Max power responds with a Razorback. Needs to keep it the heck away from these Ogrins, that's for sure. Manticore getting ready to fire for lag. Where's it going? It's going to defend the power. Hit some Chaos Space Marines, but it didn't take a model. These guys with their aspiring champion Force Commander going after the Plague Champion. Was that did he throw his Black Grenade at the Force Commander? I think he did. Can he finish him off? Boom! Yes, he can. But can he get away from his Chaos Space Marine now forcing melee? No, he can't. 386, 348. Ogrins chasing down a Razorback. If these guys get rear armor hits, and now they're after the zone throw, XPhial's going to lose this thing immediately. Yeah, it's gone. Down it goes. And XPhial struggling. Has double termagants and now a second zone throw. 386, 334. Razorback needs repairs. He does have scouts to repair them. It's a 2-to-1 cap for blue. And this medical bugger is still up here. I think the Plague Champion stole it at one point. Cracked missiles hitting these gens from the Sentinel. Can use frag and crack. Makes a Sentinel into a very versatile little unit. If you can micro it well enough. There's a Manticore strike. One of the missiles, in fact two of the missiles hitting the Sentinel, and there's a snare from the zone throat. That's focused warp blast. This might be the end of this Sentinel. Lictor Alpha now in amongst it. There's a stomp. Will it save it? No, it won't. 386, 309. That's how quickly something can die in Dawn of War 2. What was that? 5 seconds from it hitting gens to going down. 386, 297 even. It's a double cap for blue. Warboss charging into the middle of nowhere and is forced off. All of these guardsmen now with Commissar leaders up to 12 models. How are you meant to take this blob down with that bunker there? Here comes the Plague Champion to throw blight grenades, and he's realised and retreated everything. But now he's cancelled the retreat with executions, and that was a huge mistake. Look at the damage from those blight grenades. That is crazy. The Bile Spewer as well. Manticore Strike also. 386, 268. I think that's why lag was a bit slow to react there. He was sorting out his Manticore Strike. Armour of Pestilence for the Plague Champion is level 5. 386, 265. Here's a Capillary Tower from X-Ray. Dog. Blood Crusher up from Noisy. He's lost one of his Havocs. Lost his Heretics. Now he's replacing his Heretics. Double Zone Throats up for XPhial. Another Tower. Double Focus Warp Blasts on this Blood Crusher. Can they finish it off? There's another one. It does recharge quite quickly, that ability. And he's just really hard stunned here, or snared rather. 386, 265. Manticore Strike. Down goes the Blood Crusher. One more Focus Warp Blast I think did it. Here's a lone Spore Mine. Warboss just runs past it. Yarrick controlling top, has this contested power with a node on it also, and is decapping red team's natural victory point in the north. Razorback getting shots off with his twin linked heavy bolter, which doesn't suppress but does reasonable damage to infantry. They did decap, and now the very long retreat back to base. Commissar Lord fully kitted out for Yarrick. Flak Jacket and Stubbornness, so he's going to be pretty tough with Stubbornness, and a Flak Jacket allows him to execute enemy marines, which is useful. Or at least try to. 386, 252. It's a single cap. Does not want to fight a Power Fist Force Commander. Stubbornness is not going to save you from that. Almost gets him as well. Assault Marines in retreat path, but Stubbornness saves him perhaps in the end. There's the Weird Boy. Insane area of effect stun. The Warp Vomit. The best stun in the game by far. 386, 237. A single cap for blue. Plague Champion has switched to the Plague Fist and Icon of Nurgle. And runs the hell away. 386, 231. Pain Boy still around, level 2 now. And he has his implant equipment. I wonder if he's used it on anything. Maybe he's used it on the sluggers. +1 speed is usually the best thing to give a melee squad. 386, 227. Double Zone Throats now starting to have an impact for XPhial. And they still have this bunker here. And they're capping. Max has his natural back. He's now taking Blue's natural, and he's taking this contested power. Lots of changing hands in the north. Manticore on the way for lag. Manticore number 2. These things are going to be slightly cheaper in 2.2 to 390 from 300, 100. Where is he firing this thing? Absolutely no idea where that hits. Did not see it here. 363, 227. Maybe it was in the north somewhere. Ogren's still charging around halfway to level 2. He now has some stormtroopers in their default state so far. Maybe he's waiting to see what happens. If he can sneak in and get a melter on this Razorback, follow it up for Ogren's. That is a dead Razorback pretty quickly. 343, 227. Pretty much all of the cover here destroyed. Lictor Alpha goes down in retreat, does it? Yes. Manticore striking a pretty damn good one too. Here comes the Plague Champion switching back to the Icon of Nurgle. Constant damage over time around the Plague Champion. He's throwing his light grenades and hits them quite nicely on those retreating termagants. Awesome war gear play from Noisy, switching back and forth. 327, 227. I think it takes you 20 seconds to switch. Have a Nurgle Shrine here, and it's being worshipped, so that is a reinforcement point for blue team now. Creeping barrage. Wow, really did a number on those shooters, and spawn mines are there. Almost took out the squad. 316, 227. Warboss goes down, but he's going to be revived immediately by the Plague Champion, and it's going to level him to 7. Yes, it does. Now Yarrick has a Bane Blade on the way. How did he manage that? Fully kitted out Commissar Lord and Ogren's, and he gets a Bane Blade on before Max has even in tier 3. Replaces his tactical marines and turns them into Stern Guard veterans. Not sure why he's gone for that. Maybe to put a lot of pressure on the Commissar Lord with Hellfire rounds. But it's better to go for a plasma gun, I think, and put pressure on the Ogren's. 296, 227. Plague Champion has switched back to his Bile Spear and is getting constantly snared by these termagants. Is going to go down. Yes. 289, 227. Termagants leveling to 3. There's a Manticore Strike. This Shrine helping everything out. These Havocs need to set up somewhere, but it's so risky with that Manticore around. We really need to keep an eye on them. Look how Space Marines taking shots from those double zone throats, which have really helped our red team at the bottom. Helped them with a bit more staying power, forcing off units quicker, getting the damage in quicker. 272, 227. 2-1 cap for red. Yarrick putting pressure on the top. He's taken down the Razorback, and scouts inside it. Are they stuck inside it? I don't think they are. Just not moving them. 265, 227. There's a Basilisk Flare. We have Thunderhammer now up for the Force Commander. Down goes that Commissar Lord. Hellfire rounds helping out, so paying off there. These guys need to reinforce though. Hellfire rounds doing damage over time to commanders and light infantry. 253, 227. The capillary towers now starting to appear all over the place. There's 2 up there. Lag decapping this power. 2-1 for red. Constant back and forth all over the map here. Tier 3 for lag. And XPhial has the Doom of Malantai on the field. Area of effect damage over time specialist. This thing really hurts in my opinion. Still a bit slightly overperforming the Paroxysm. You can just get it off too many times in an engagement. Needs a longer cooldown, I think. 231, 227. No sign of it here though. Just getting its basic attack. There is the Cataclysm. Knockback and damage over time. Light grenade again. Beautifully done on those termagants. That is painful. Or is it painful? Doesn't get a model there. And there you see Black Grenades not scaling very well, which is understandable. I mean, they're only 120 and so effective in tier 1, but against his leveled up termagants did not get a model there. Down he goes in retreat. 212, 227. Yarrick putting a lot of pressure on Max's natural. Commissar Lord is going to be revived by the Warboss, and this will level him to 6, I think. Max power getting some Devastators, has a Bane Blade to deal with. Good luck with that. Super heavy tank for Imperial Guard, 2 las cannons, bunch of heavy bolters, mega battle cannon, and a demolisher. Not to mention 3,500 hit points of vehicle armor to deal with. This Manticore, they really haven't made a push for this Manticore, have they, blue team? Done so much damage as 2 of them. Where's the other one? It's up here. Has some Kasrkins now lag with their weapon expertise, buffing any weapon you decide to get to them. He's keeping them in a default state with hell guns at the moment, which is fine. Red team now coming up top to help. Here is XPhial with double Zoanthropes and a Doom of Malantai. But Doom of Malantai can't do much versus vehicles though. It's one weakness, but I think Paroxysm's still a bit too good. Just up that cooldown a bit. 194, 216. Here come anti-armor stormtroopers trying to be sneaky. There is the Paroxysm. 2% damage per second over 8 seconds. But it does extra damage to heavy and super heavy infantry, which is why it's so dangerous to super units and terminators and such. Manticore strike, down goes the Warboss. Manticore trying to hit the battle wagon, but doesn't quite manage it. Battle wagon getting a lot more love in Elite mod. Wow, there's another Manticore strike. That was a rear armor hit. So was that, and so was that. 194, 198. So 2-1 gap for blue. Desperate stuff. Still 200 VPs to go, and a great unclean one on the way for Noisy. Needs to be very careful with that big fella, with that Doom of Malantai around. Paroxysm absolutely owns avatars and great unclean ones, and all of the Terminator variants. Here comes the Baneblade, and that I assume is going to be a repair bunker from Yarrick. 4 mines dropped. Pain Boy is almost level 3, and XPhial's going to try and decap. There's a tower there. Battle wagon can run over stuff, has some good firepower as well, and decent speed. 2,700 hit points of vehicle armor, which is not bad. People tend to overextend it though. Weird Boy needs to back away from this Manticore strike. Another Manticore strike onto the battle wagon. Taking a lot of damage, and there's a las cannon getting a shot in from Max. Needs to back this thing the hell off. Another tower is up. Manticore strike takes down the battle wagon. What was he doing? I'm not sure. Was he trying to repair it with his sluggers? I'm not sure. Here comes the Great Unclean one. Super unit for Chaos, Greater Demon of Nurgle. Every bit as delightful as you'd think. Look at him. Constant damage over time around the demon. Also has some really nasty abilities and over 6,000 hit points of super heavy infantry armor. 188, 129. Force Commander's level 6 has switched back to his Power Fist. Stern Guard switching back to their Hellfire rounds against that Weird Boy who does have Commander armor. These guys need to be careful though, getting hit by the Demolisher Cannon. Good thing they retreated there, or it would have wiped them I think. There's the Melter Bomb on the Baneblade I should say. Where's the Force Commander gone? He's trying to sneak around. Oh, he's trying to steal the bunker. There he goes, he's stolen it. Nob Squad is there though, so needs to be careful. Commissar Lord reviving the Warboss. Oh, kicking off bottom though. Bunch of Termagants, Doom and Malantai still there. Those double Zoanthropes still there as well. Level 3 and level 3. Wow, they must be doing some crazy damage. There's an Abyss from Noisy. Forces off all of XPhial stuff. Wipes the Termagant brood there. This squad or brood not wanting to retreat for some reason. What's going on there? No, there they go. There's a decent nuke. Forced him off if nothing else. Wiped the squad. And he'll be able to take the VP. No, Great Unclean one has taken tons of damage. Taking plasma gun shots from all his guardsmen now. There's some Nurgle worship. But he really needs to get back to base I think. Trying to take down this Lictor Alpha. Here comes a Swarm Lord from XPhial. Super unit for Tyranids. The Doom Malantai I suppose is a super unit. More of a sub-commander super unit. Swarm Lord is the real deal. 2,000 hit points vehicle armor. Devastating in melee combat. And gives you a speed buff and a reinforcement synapse. The rocks pretty much missed everything there. Don't worry, didn't miss anything. Guardsman retreated out. And here's a shrine and some Nurgle worship. Great Unclean one though needs to get back to base. Gonna take forever to worship him up here. Down to under 1,000 hit points. Look how slow that heal over time is from the worship. Need to get him back to base and worship him. Ideally between two bases for the double health regen. 160, 92. Swarm Lord popping up in the center of the map, going after the Ogrins. We might see Blade Storm here. Nope, he's already used, I think, Leech Essence already. It's a really nasty army that XPhial's put together. Double Zoanthropes leveled up. Doom with Malantite and the Swarm Lord. Doom Malantite out of energy, as you can see. Does not naturally regenerate energy. Needs to rely on its abilities to do so. Spirit Leech and Absorber Life will give it some energy back. 160, 64. A double cap for blue. They have both the top victory points. But bottom, I think, is going to turn red here. Lord General has melter guns, anti-everything weapon at short range, and gives him fight harder. Warboss now with the devastating power claw, 95 DPS heavy melee. He's level 7, so he's going to be doing some crazy damage. Nob squad knocked back, fully upgraded with their Nob Leader, huge hammers, and Meaner and Greener, but they are eventually forced off. Really elite tier 3 melee unit. Zoanthropes are going to lead the charge to top alongside the Swarm Lord, which is boosting their speed, and they're up against the Baneblade. The Swarm Lord does do heavy melee damage, so he can put some pressure on a Baneblade. Predator tank is there, needs to be very careful. Baneblade is basically a tank killer, but it's got a lot of stuff to deal with here. There's a Melter Bomb. Where is the Force Commander again? He's capping. Baneblade taking a lot of damage here. There's the Warp Vomit. Zoanthrope might need to put his shield up at least. There's Paroxysm, which won't do a lot to the vehicle. 160, 27, Las Cannon. Twin-link Las Cannon Predator getting shot centers. Baneblade is done for. He just rocket runned his own. Oh, that's lag. I was going to say. I thought Yarrick was doing a rocket run to protect his Baneblade, but that was lag. Almost wiping his Ogrins with it. And there is Orbital in retreat path. Good thinking by Max. And that's a dead Ogrin squad. 154, 27. No, it isn't. They live. Unbelievable. Wow. 22 hit points they get away. So he completely wasted that nuke in the end. Great Unclean One has been healed up effectively. More spawn mines dropped in. And we have some Chaos Terminators for Noisy. Armed with their autocannon. Good damage to all targets, small aerial effect, and these guys demoralizing enemies with each kill, reducing their damage and increasing the damage that they take. Really is nasty if you can stack it up. The Plague Champion with the Plague Fist equipped, he's level 10, did you ever doubt it? At the bottom of the map against Imperial Guard and Tyranids. Has stolen that medical bunker and he's putting up another shrine here. There's still one back there as well. 124, 27. Lictor Alpha thrown aside. What happened there? 121, 27, a special attack or something. Here are some Flamer Guardsmen. 2-1 cap for red. 115, 27. All kicking off bottom now. Swarm Lord and Doom and Malantite hunting down this Great Unclean One. There's a Manticore Strike. And the Doom Malantite is pulled in by Foul Snare. Can the Great Unclean One finish it off? One more hit would have done it, but it looks like it is going to get away. Plague Champion going back to the Battle Spear just to bash power here. 115, 27. Noisy really doesn't miss a trick, does he? Nob Squad going after the Swarm Lord now, and he's no energy to use Leech Essence or the Blade Storm, so that is going to be painful. As support though, grenades going in. Zoanthrope shots going in. Nob's losing a lot of health here. You see their momentum rings are full, so they have the full damage buff from those hammers, and Swarm Lord forces them off. Plague Champion now going up against it. 72 DPS heavy melee from that fist. Less DPS than the other power fists in the game, but it does give you the awesome Pestilence Strike. 115, 24 Manticore Strike on the VP. Gets the Orks off it, but not before they cap. 115, 21. What's going on top? Both commanders down up here. Sorry, that's not Max. That is the Lictor Alpha. Commissar Lord down. He's level 7. Lictor Alpha level 5. Lord General level 6. Force Commander level 7. Level 7 Warboss. And at level 10 Plague Champion. He has all of his accessories now. He has Mucus Discharge on the way. 1158. Amazing Plague Champion plays, going after this Manticore, switching back to the Mucus Discharge so he can heal himself with Breath of Nurgle. As he does so, can he catch it though? He's so slow with Armor of Pestilence. 115 and 1. Red team have a single victory point to hang on to. They're going to get a 2-1, sorry. And Max has Terminators on the field. Can he hold this VP now? Ogren's almost level 3 for Yarrick. Have done really well for him, but he's lost a lot of stuff here. Another tower going up for no discernible reason. Don't think it boosts speed on retreat. And down goes the Lictor Alpha in retreat. Finished off by the Commando squad. Heavy turret up here from Commissar Lag with an Executioner. And that was so devastating to those Ogryns. But down goes the Predator tank. What the heck was that? I do not even know. Was it these guys? I have no idea what happened there. 95-1. Force Commander with his Thunder Hammer level 8. I've seen some really awesome war gear switching from Max and especially Noisy. 88-1. Red team are holding on to this single victory point here, and a rocket run. That must be from Yarrick. Surely is. He's going for a Manticore of his own. There's a big foot of gore from the Weird Boy. That thing is painful, but the Terminators avoid it. They have an assault cannon up, forcing off the commandos. Swarmlord has been really good for XPhial as well. And that turret is just devastating with that Executioner on top. Red team know what they need to do now. They need to hold both of the top victory points. It's much easier to defend the two naturals than it is to defend a natural and a contested at the end of the game. 83-1. Green Ops 1 is going to stay down here, it looks like. Is that a mistake? Do they need him up top? Because Yarrick has very little double commandos from Eerie. These guys cap 50% faster than normal, much like Tactical Marines. And another heavy turret comes up. The other one went down though. 83-1. This thing begins with a Vanquisher cannon. Manticore strike. This must be from Yarrick. A pretty good one. The Doom Manatai is still around. Has been a huge pain in the arse. His double zone throats, both level 4, have been awesome as well. 83-1. It's a 1-to-1 cap. Swarmlord forcing off a bunch of Orks. That was a Cataclysm. Manticore strike again. We have another Executioner and down it goes again. Doesn't want to put any more turrets up because they're just going to be Manticore down. Those turrets have vehicle armor, which is why the Manticore is so effective against them. Normally not very effective versus the other tier 1 turrets. And there's Paroxysm on those Terminators, and look at the damage it does. That was just a few seconds. They back away. Here comes a Shrine from Noisy. 81-1. It's a 2-tron cap for red. Kasrikins with plasma guns doing some crazy damage. Wow. Also get crack and frag grenades as well, those guys. What is this? Is this Stolen Bunker still at the bottom? Great and Clean One all alone, contemplating his next meal. 69-1. 2-to-1 cap for red team, and they are stacking up at the top. Manticore, Swarmlord, Predator tank, Terminators, Doom of Malantide, double level zone tropes, and another heavy turret comes up. 61-1. Manticore from Yarrick doing huge damage to that turret with each hit, and it's almost gone down already. There is a foot of gore. Desperate stuff from blue team, trying to get this victory point back, and a Plague Champion decaps it. Can he cap it now? He's immune to weapon knockback because of the Armor of Pestilence. Has also used Pestilence Strike to give him lots of range damage resistance, and I think the Swarmlord's going to go down here. Is he? He's kicking some serious ass alongside that Paroxysm, but does go down. The Nob Squad, tons of damage. Wow, almost wiped that squad. Paroxysm is so crazy. Plague Champion goes down, does not finish the cap. 53-1. It's a 1-to-1. Manticore strike again. Lag has brought his Manticore all the way up here, and Yarrick has a single Manticore left, and that is it. Lots of towers going up here. XPhial floating in insane amounts of requisition, over 1,000 at the end of the game. That is outrageous. Double Chaos Terminators for Noisy with double autocannons. Here's a Carnifex though for XPhial with the Thornback So if you get in amongst it, tie things up, keep things away from the victory point. Weird Boy, wow, a level 4 Weird Boy, over 1800 hit points, that is crazy. 53-1. It's a 2-1 now for red. Can they hold on here? What is this? It's just a drop pod to reinforce Max's stuff. That will also give a permanent reinforcement point unless it's destroyed. That Predator tank needs repairs very, very badly. Blue team still have bottom. Maybe they should flank around and go after red's natural here. Although saying that, there's a Carnifex waiting for them. 38-1. Red team holding on to the single victory point. The Noxious Cloud takes down the Predator tank eventually. Assault squad level 4 reinforcing off of the drop pod, but the Noxious Cloud is hurting those heavy weapon squad guys. And I think the Kasrkin in there, yeah, almost wiped out the Kasrkin. It did, in fact it did wipe them out. 22-1, it's a 1-to-1 cap still going here. Nob squad forced off again. Does Eerie have enough for a nuke? No, he doesn't. Nobody does. In fact, another Swarm Lord on the way for XPhial. 22-1, 1-to-1 cap. What is capping here? It's the Doom of Manatite trying to cap, of all things, but it is forced off. A single lone Terminator is going to take up this cap now. Lots and lots of DAC up from these Terminators and Shooter Boys, level 4 Shooter Boys, as it expected at this point in the game. Triple Manticores for Yarrick. And I think this Terminator is done for. Teleports out, needs to get back to base. You need to get it back to base or drop another drop pod. Can a drop pod reinforce Terminators? I think it can. Max power, I think, is saving up for a land raider or something. There's tons of power, could get a Predator tank very soon. Thornback has been a pain in the arse here. These things can level as well, of course. This zone threat's going to go down and does go down. Yarrick, Manticores himself, and red team take the game with a single victory point. Crazy, crazy stuff. Wow, let's have a look at the commanders at the end of the game. The Commissar Lord was level 9, had the Emperor's Wrath and the Fist of Brockus and Flak Jacket. Warboss was level 7. Plague Champion level 10, was level 10 for ages. Force Commander also level 10, had the Sacred Standard at the end of the game. The Lord General level 9. And the Lictor Alpha level 6 had Menacing Visage and Corrosive Claws at the end of the game. Crazy, crazy stuff. I'm sure I missed tons of it. The Doom Manatite was awesome. The Plague Champion was awesome. The Swarm Lord was awesome before it went down. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.